friends, this is the Bijou Baker. I'm Maria. So Valentine's is coming up and I'm going to make lobster thermidor. I don't have a Valentine, so I'm going to make a Valentine dinner for my daughter and my granddaughter. And we're going to have a nice Galentine's dinner. Lobster thermidor is one of those recipes that way back, the art of entertaining was just a thing in the, I say way back. I was a kid. Way back when we had dinosaurs. Yeah, the art of entertaining was the thing. Housewives went out of their way and had dinner parties, and it was just such a thing. And lobster thermidor was one of the great successes. And it's so easy. It's so easy. I can see why it was a success. Plus, it's yummy. So I'm gonna make the lobster thermidor. Then I'm gonna make a saffron rice with mushrooms and put that together. And I think I might even throw in a dessert at the end. Let's see what happens. Here's your list of ingredients for the basmati rice. The saffron rice. Here's your list of ingredients for the lobster thermidor. The very first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to heat up my wine and let that get a little warm. Not boiling, but I want it to get warm. Once it's warm, really warm, I'm going to toss in the saffron. I'm going to let that sit for about an hour. Because the rice is going to take longer, I'm going to start that first. So I'm going to put in a little bit of olive oil and butter. Put it in a pot, put it in a pan, whichever works, so long as the top has a nice fit to it. So I'm going to let this get warm until I get a little bit of a froth to it. I'll do the same for the lobster sauce. Okay, so we got a good little rumble to it. I'm going to add the grated garlic, the grated onions, and I did add a little bit of garlic in that. And it's not going to take long to get this translucent because the garlic is grated. You can use shallots if you like. That's why I combined the onion and the garlic, just to give it a similar flavor. Or you can just chop your onions, whichever you prefer. I'm making this for someone who doesn't like onions, so I kind of have to hide it. So I'm going to cook this until it's cooled down, calmed down just a bit. Like I say, it's not going to take long. It looks very frothy, kind of neat looking. Now I'm going to add the chopped mushrooms and get that to simmer, saute, and just soften up. The mushrooms will release a lot of water as well. I'm going to lower it and just let it hang out. While that's going, I'm looking at my warm wine. I think I'm going to remove these. If not all of them, a majority of them. They don't, of course, they don't have a bad taste. They're quite delicious. So yes, you just use a fork. Yeah, I think I'm good with that. You can leave them if you want to. I think I'm just gonna, I might leave those. That's your call, but it's sat as long as I need to. You can see that the mushrooms have released a lot of the water. So I'm going to add my warm wine. I'm going to pick up the heat just a little bit. Before I add this, I want it going. Okay. This instantly changes the whole color. So I'm going to let this cook for just, I don't know, 2 minutes. At this point, I'm going to add just a pinch of salt. And then the rice. I rinsed the rice. Go ahead, I dare you. I rinsed the rice and soaked it a few times to take out as much starch as I can. So this is wet. And I'm going to cook this for about 3 to 5 minutes. I don't want it to brown, but I do want it to get a little cooked. And it'll stay just like that. Okay, we got a good sizzle in the pot. Now I'm going to add the stock. One of the things about rice that intimidates people, whether it's steamed rice or fried rice, maybe not fried rice, but Spanish rice, is not knowing when it's done. There are a lot of different tricks to getting that sweet line, but this seems to really work the best for me. I'm going to let this come to a good boil. I'm going to turn off the heat and I'm going to let it set for 10 to 15 minutes. Completely untouched. Okay, that's a good boil. Fire goes off. It gets covered and is removed to the back for at least, let's say 15 minutes. It's not going to hurt it to sit longer. Okay, on to the lobster thermidor. We're working at an awkward angle, so I apologize for that, but we got stuff to do, so we're not going to care. First thing we're going to do is we're going to take our lobsters, and you can cut them up the bottom side or the top. I personally like the way it looks from the top. And keep in mind when you're doing that, these little boogers are pointed. So just keep that in mind. And just cut them right up the top. I have my oven at 375. Ah, that's a good shell. That's a really good shell. Let me battle this one because I'm feeling... Okay, I took the one and I cut it up the sides. I ended up cutting off these little points. Those suckers are sharp. They're quite like thorns. So I sliced it open and had to work on opening this up and separating it from the bottom. I'm going to show you on this one. All good things are worth a little work. Some of the skin will be easy to, or the shell will be easy to lift up, and that one that I just did, boy, it just didn't want to separate. This one is just a breeze. So I'm going to take my finger underneath and just loosen the meat from the shell. But I don't want to destroy the shell because this is what I'm going to present it in. So just like that. And I'm going to bake this, put them both on a cookie sheet. All right, so I'm going to open them up and put just a little bit of salt. Just really sprinkle it lightly. And that's all I'm going to add to it. I'm not going to, that's a lie. I'm going to pour some, I'm going to put some butter pats right on top so that when it melts, when it's baking it melts right So in the meantime, while that's baking, I'm gonna, it's almost done. I'm gonna finish up a little dessert. Now, 101 different desserts for Valentine's Day, Galentine's Day. This is cheating because on the link below I made tiramisu. Tiramisu in itself is an incredible dessert for a special night like this. But I know I made extra cream, so I'm going to use that cream and make a separate little treat. Oh, okay, so I've got some of this extra cream, which, like I said, in itself is a delicious dessert, just like this. But I'm going to put it in these little cups and make it cute, and then add some hard cookies on it, which in this case are going to be ginger snaps. So I'm just going to, can you see? Let me see. Let me make sure you can see. I'm just going to put in a few swirls, and then take some of these ginger snap cookies and just break them in there. It would be really loud on here. And then just continue until I get to the top. Need to fill up my bag and then just top it up. I'm going to get the air bubble. I'm going to dust it with a little cinnamon, I think, and chill it. All right, on to the good stuff. So I've got my, maybe I should turn the oven on, or the stove. I've got my butter on here, and I'm going to add, once I get it frothy a little bit, I'm going to add the olive oil and get all these goodies going. This is really quick. All right, we're good here. We're going to add the oil. We're going to add our, here again, you can use shallots, you can use chopped onions, but because I know my daughter doesn't like onions, but she'll eat the flavor of it, and I'm adding garlic. I'm just going to saute this. I'm going to lower the heat. They'll get nice and frothy. This really is a pretty quick dish, and it's, you know, I don't know who goes around making things up so that they seem intimidating. This is, if you can make gravy, you can make this, and even if you can't make gravy, because this isn't a full gravy, but we are going to make a bit of a roux. Okay, so we're going to add our flour. And cook it just a little bit, because we don't want that raw taste. In here, I'm also going to add the mushrooms. I probably should have added it earlier, but that's all right. So I'm going to let it steam, simmer just a little bit. I'm going to lower the heat a lot so that the water can be released from the mushrooms. I'm just going to babysit a little bit. In the meantime, that rice has been completely undisturbed. While that's simmering on low, I've taken out my tails, and I'm just going to chop them. I'm just going to give them a semi-sizable chop. They're so tender. You know, I was not a fan of lobsters for the longest time, and then I went to Maine, home of these babies. Oh my gosh, I lost my mind with these. They were so delicious. All right, so getting back to the... All right, so you can see how some of the water has been released. Now I'm gonna add a sweet wine. Now, you want the sweeter wine here. I prefer a Moscato. Oh my God, that sounds so good. That smells good. You could use a sherry if you want to. Just gonna cook this until the alcohol is released. This is gonna get pretty thick. That's all right, we're gonna work on that. So the sweet wine is gonna work with the sweet lobster and make beautiful things happen. And you're just gonna stir in your broth. And I made a little more brothy, a little more brothier than it should, only because I really like it. I hate when I go to a restaurant and they give you just enough. Like, can you really load up with that pasta, please? All right, so this is going to go in, and then I'm going to add the whipping cream. Now, the heavy cream is going to actually, it's also going to sweeten it up just a little bit. And I'm going to turn my heat up. Mix it around. And add this beautiful lobster. Plenty of sauce. All right, so I'm going to let this cook on a medium high for about 10 minutes. Okay, so I've got my lobster tail shells. See how pretty pink they turned? And they come out, well, you saw me cut it up, but they come out so easily and so nicely, so you have a beautiful little bowl for your food. Now, I've got plenty of sauce, but I'm not going to just pile it in there. I just want the chunks of stuff. So I've got a slotted spoon, and I'm just going to fill this. Well, you know what? Let me put this down. I want both hands. Man, that sauce is so good. I'm going to get all the nooks and crannies because there's plenty. Now, this is actually going to serve the three of us. Oh my gosh, look at that creamy sauce. That means I can't wait. Yeah, I want it all the way back there. I want it to look really, really nice. I want it to look yummy. If you could just smell what I smell, you'd be in the kitchen right now making this. Oh my gosh, there's an abundance for three. And I'll just put the sauce on the side. They might not want it. Yeah, right. Okay. All right. Oh. I'm a complete ding dong because I forgot this part. I forgot I have to put them in the broiler for about 5 minutes, 3 to 5 minutes. So I put them back on a cookie sheet. I dusted them with a little paprika and sprinkled some Parmesan cheese. Then we'll plate and eat. Okay, the rice is done and beautiful. I'm going to squeeze just a little bit of lemon to kind of make it nice and bright and fluff it up with a fork. That is the biggest trick to cooking rice, is just to leave it sit. Cover it, let it sit. You wouldn't think so, but oh yeah. Oh yeah. So good. All right, so we're gonna serve this with a wedge of lemon and some rice. We'll top it off with a little bit of parsley, just because it's pretty. And I think what I'll do, I'm going to get some of the sauce just by itself. And just drizzle it on. Okay. Who's hungry? Okay, so before I go get my Galentines, I wanna taste it. The toasting at the very end, yeah, it matters. It matters. But look at that, it's delicious. You can't see that. I can. Oh. That is so good. Let me show you the. So the it's funny, that little bit of paprika really does kick in good. The lemon juice, nice big hearty bites, and that yummy sauce. Man. Oh my gosh, you guys. I can see why this was a hit back in the 60s. It's a hit today. I'm so done. This little thing, I'm gonna go back and forth and confuse my mouth. So the link below is how to make tiramisu. This was extra cream with that snappy cookie. And the cinnamon, forget about it. Oh. My mouth is happy. There you go. That's our Galentine's dinner. We're gonna go. I'm gonna sit with the girls. We're gonna visit. Maybe we'll do mud masks later. Watch some movies. Netflix and chill, right? Until next time, my friends. Happy baking.
Ah, that was fun. Don't forget to like and subscribe.